Hi everyone, I hope this video finds you all well. So a few of you have contacted me asking for some resources to help you with a home practice. So I've decided to try and make some videos. I'm hoping to do them weekly for you, and I will also send out a copy of the practice notes, so that might be useful in some form as well for you. Like I said, this video is going to be really rough. I don't have a lot of equipment at home to make this kind of thing, but I'm going to do the best I can. I've also got a couple of cats who might make an appearance and a husband in the next room who's also working. So apologies if there's any interruptions or background noise, but we'll do the best that we can. So the practice I'm going to offer today is a practice to really help us soften. I think over the last few days and weeks, it's been quite a tense time for us. I don't know about yourselves, but I know for me personally, each day there's been more of a build of tension. So, like I said, this practice is going to help us soften, rest down a little easier, and hopefully just make you feel generally a little bit better, as best we can at the moment. So the only equipment I'm going to be using is a blanket, and that's simply for comfort, and my mat obviously underneath that. But again, you don't even really need the mat. So as long as you've got a good floor to work on, if that's carpet, that's absolutely fine with a mat on top. Um, or if it's a harder floor like mine, maybe a mat with a blanket as well, because we are going to do a little bit of rolling about on the floor. But as long as you're comfortable, that's the main thing. So we're going to start the practice in constructive rest. So a lot of you are familiar with that position. So we're going to bring our feet on the floor, let the knees point up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to come to lay on my back. And I'm going to allow myself to rest down fully into the support of the floor that's offered beneath me. Giving myself a chance to let everything settle, find its place. So on a physical level, maybe noticing the points of contact with the body against the floor. So that might be the back of the head, the shoulders, the back of the pelvis and the soles of the feet. And allowing those places in the body to feel nice and heavy. And then finding the breath. So you can either have the arms and hands at the sides of the body, or like me, you can bring the hands onto the body. I like to feel the breath with my hands, so I like to bring my hands onto the body. And getting a sense of how the breath is moving. Letting the breath find its rhythm. So we're going to begin with a really simple breathing practice, yeah, and that's kind of a bit of a running theme for the practice today, is we're going to keep it nice and simple. So we're going to bring the hands onto the chest. And allow the breath to fill into the chest, the tops of the lungs. Getting a sense of how the breath moves into the hands as we inhale and falls away from the hands as we exhale. So spending a few moments exploring that movement. You may also feel the heartbeat under the hands. And we're not going to try and stand in the way of any of this, simply observing and watching. And then placing the hands around the ribs, around the sides of the ribs. And again, encouraging and allowing the breath, inviting the breath to fill into the sides of the ribs. Feeling how the ribs expand into the hands as we inhale. Falling away from the hands as we exhale. Noticing if one side feels a bit easier than the other. Then bringing the hands a little lower down now onto the pelvic area, the lower belly. Again, exploring the movement of the breath. If you do notice any points where the breath isn't quite reaching, you consciously kind of take your mind there, bring your awareness there. Invite the breath in. Almost a sense of the breath unsticking those points. So for me, I've got a bit of tension going on in my left hip. So I'm inviting the breath into that area. I've got the eyes closed here. You can keep them open if you want to. Whatever feels best. So now I'm going to bring some really gentle movements into this lower area, so the pelvic area, the lower back. So as I inhale, I'm going to allow my pelvis to tilt away from me. And as I exhale, allowing the pelvis to tilt towards me. So finding your own rhythm, your own pace with the breath here. And as you make this movement, you may notice that other parts of the body are getting involved. Again, don't stand in the way of that. So as I inhale and I allow my pelvis to tilt away, I get a sense of my head moving down the mat a little. And then as I exhale and allow the pelvis to draw towards me, I might get a sense of the head moving up the mat a little. And again, don't worry if you don't feel that. It's not important. And then letting go of that entirely. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Take a nice gentle hold of the knees, gently rock from side to side. And then drawing the elbows and the hands in towards you, so letting go of the knees here. And I am simply going to let my weight pour from one side to the other. So almost imagining that I made a sand, and I'm letting that sand trickle from one side of the body to the other. And then the limbs might want to start to get involved a little here. So as you roll onto the side, it might be quite nice to extend the top arm and the top leg. And making this movement as luxurious as you possibly can. With as minimal effort as you possibly can. You can go back to making it a more contained movement. So really playing about exploring the weight of the body. And then eventually letting that come back to more of a still place. You can extend the legs out if you wish. A few breaths here. And then let's bring the feet back onto the floor with the knees bent. So again, we're really thinking of embodying this quality of being soft in our practice today. So keeping that in mind with all the movements that we're making. So I'm going to draw my right knee in towards me. And I'm going to gently move from the hip socket. And then I like to draw my right arm as well over the head of this, and I'm going to let my right foot, the sole of the foot, reach up towards the ceiling. And then out on the diagonal, allowing the opposite leg to mirror that. Reaching across the midline again, letting the other leg mirror that movement. And then it might be nice to roll onto the side again, extend the leg. Coming onto the back, let the breath move in. Let the breath move out. I'm going to repeat that a few times. And moving at your own pace here, yeah? No rush. I've got plenty of time. And it might be that the arm wants to maybe mirror that movement. It might not. But letting the body move how it wants to move, not standing in the way of that. And the other arm might even want to get involved again, not standing in the way. Let's go maybe one more time. Yeah. And let both legs lengthen out along the floor. Okay, so opposite side. So bringing both feet back onto the floor, drawing the left knee in. And then we're going to open gently that left hip socket. And again, noticing what you notice on this second side, yeah? So I'm feeling a lot of tension today in the outer edge of this left hip. So I'm being really mindful of that. And let some exhalations out through the mouth. And again, we're going to start to reach that foot up towards the ceiling, reaching out, cross. Letting the breath move in and out. And finding some kind of rhythm with this. Let's maybe go one more time. And letting the legs lengthen out along the floor. Bringing the knees into the chest. Let's bring ourselves up from there. So I'm going to get rid of my blanket at this stage. If you want to use the blanket under the knees, feel free. I'll show you actually, I'll do that. So I'm going to use this as a bit of support underneath my knees. Like I say, my floor is quite hard here, but if you've got a softer floor beneath you, you might not need this. So I'm going to come onto all fours. So let's find that softness in the arms and the hands. Yeah, so finding that cat-like quality that we speak of in class. So that the joints aren't locked, we're soft, we can receive the support of the floor. And what we're going to do here, we're going to make a really small, actually, it's going to be a really small figure eight. So a nice, contained, gentle figure eight, moving into the sides of the spine. again, finding that soft quality in the body. And then changing the direction of our figure 8. And coming back to neutral, maybe giving the wrists a bit of a rest here. You can sit back on the heels briefly. So coming back to all fours. So we're going to do a little bit of work here in our cat and cow. So as we inhale, we're going to round the upper back, coming into our flexed cat. And as we exhale, coming into our extended cow. So we're really not allowing the belly to drop down here. So using support here, so we're supporting the lower back. Inhaling, rounding into our flexed cat. Exhaling into our extended cow. So finding your own rhythm here. We're going to go a few times. And then pausing again, giving the wrists a bit of a break. And then when you're ready, coming back to all fours. So thinking about the pelvis and the lower back. So really focusing on that area, and what we're going to do, we're going to draw a circle with the pelvis. So trying to keep the movement being focused on the pelvis. And other parts of the body might move, but the starting point, of that movement is from the pelvis. And then let's take it in the opposite direction. Keeping the jaw soft. And then pause. We're going to take it round sort of the mid-level of the spine now. And again, we're going to make that circular movement coming from the mid-back. And it doesn't need to be a really big movement. Actually, the smaller the better. So we're just going to make tiny, tiny circles. So if you imagine that the spine was a spoon and it was stirring some porridge, and we're holding the spoon in the mid-back area. Now let's take it the opposite way. And then thinking about the upper back now between the shoulder blades. So again, if we imagine the spoon, we're going to take a hold at the top of the spoon now. And we're going to make that circular movement from the top of the spine. Again, doesn't need to be a huge movement. I'm going to take it the opposite way. And then coming back to neutral, come to sit back briefly on the heels, give the wrists a little bit of a shake out, give the arms a rest. So you might want to get rid of your support under your knees. So we're going to do a little bit of work here in downward dog. I'm going to keep it a nice playful, soft downward dog. So coming onto all fours again. We're going to tuck the toes under, we're going to bring the hands forwards of the shoulders. Again, finding that soft quality, being able to receive the ground. Maybe bring the bottom back towards the heels. So coming into our puppy before we come into downward dog. And then from here, we're going to lift up from the knees, but we're going to keep the knees really bent here so we can allow our bottom or our tail to reach up towards the ceiling. And you might even want to give your tail a little bit of a wag. Moving from side to side, keeping the knees really bent here. And you might even want to find this little bouncing movement, and you might feel that travelling all the way up the spine, giving the tail a wag, and then coming down from there. If you want to, you can come up again into your downward dog. You might want to make it a little bit more of a traditional downward dog, whatever that means. Few breaths there. Or if you want, again, you can bend the knees, have a bit of a jiggle and a shake. Wag your tail. You might want to extend your legs. And then coming down from there. Let's come into a child pose. So let's make this a really nice supported child pose as well. So you can either use the hands here, you can use your blanket if you want to as a bit of support. So it can be quite nice to make a bit of a roll with your blanket for the forehead. And the arms can either be the sides of the body, they can be the front, wherever feels comfortable in the shoulders. I'm going to spend a few moments there, allowing the breath to fill into that space between the shoulder blades. Coming up from there when you're ready. So we're going to take this up to standing now. So let's come up to standing from there. Find your feet. So maybe rolling the feet on the mat. You can roll them forwards and back, outer edge, inner edge, all around. But just like we do with the hands, yeah, we're going to do the same with the feet here. So the feet are nice and soft, you can receive the support of the floor. And as we stand, we're not going to brace the knees stay soft. The arms can rest at the sides. of the body. So we're going to do some roll downs in spine. So again, let the arms, the shoulders be heavy. So if you want, you can do a little bit of bringing the shoulders up. Exhale through the mouth and letting the shoulders drop down. Give yourself spaghetti arms. And then, so we're going to do some roll downs here. So with the arms heavy, I'm going to let my chin roll in towards my chest. And then I'm going to roll down through my spine, letting the arms be heavy. And then I'm going to roll back up. Keeping the knees really bent here. Yeah, bending the knees really generously. And then turning slightly to one side. Again, rolling down, letting the arms be heavy. Rolling back up. And then opposite side. So let's go a couple more times. If you want, you can add in this kind of little jiggle and shake movement as well, which is quite nice to do. So you can pulse from the feet, or you can jiggle from the arms. I quite like the pulse from the feet and letting the arms move as a consequence of that. And again, turning to one side, rolling down, coming up, and then opposite side. And then let's go one more round. It's your decision how you want to do that. You can add in the jiggles, the shakes, or you can make it a bit more of a fluid movement. And then maybe give it another little jiggle and shake from there. Okay, so from here, we're going to step the feet wide. And again, finding the feet, letting the feet be receptive, so not bracing into the legs. Soft joints. And then I'm going to turn in with the left and out with the right. And I'm going to bend the right knee. So we speak about this in class, don't we? So as we bend the right knee, we're not going to let all the weight fall into that front leg. So thinking about the two legs lengthening away from each other. So I stay connected into this back leg as I bend that front knee. So there's a difference between this and this. Yeah. So staying connected into that back leg. Have a little look at your knee, so you want it tracking between the second and third toes. And we want the knee above the ankle, slightly behind, but not over the ankle. And then I'm going to come to lean forward, and I'm simply going to give my arm to gravity here. Maybe let some exhalations out through the mouth. So with this right hand, I'm going to place it somewhere on my right shin. And then I'm going to begin to straighten this leg without locking back into the knee. So the knee stays soft. So I lengthen into this leg. And then with my spare hand, I'm going to bring it underneath the ribs. I'm going to come across the chest. And I'm going to reach up towards the ceiling. So coming into my triangle Trikonasana pose here. And again, let the feet be soft, yeah. And even though the legs are supporting us here, the joints aren't locked, so the joints are soft. Same with the arms. Yeah, it's not bracing into the pose. Nice and soft. I'm going to let my top arm come down. A little bit of weight into the front foot to bring me back up from there. Parallel the feet. And then let's come to the opposite side. So turning in the right toes, out with the left toes. And then again, we're going to come to bend this left knee, but keeping that connection into the back leg. So we're not taking all the weight forwards, keeping that connection into the back leg. Checking in with the knee, so tracking to the second and third toes. And then I'm going to come to lean forwards over that leg, and I'm going to give my arm to gravity. Let the jaw be soft, yeah. You may even want to work with the mouth slightly open as I'm doing. So from here, I'm going to bring that hand onto the shin, and I'm going to begin to straighten that leg without locking into the leg. Taking my spare hand, I'm going to bring it underneath the ribs, coming across the front of the chest and reaching up towards the ceiling. Again, staying soft in the limbs, not bracing into the pose, allowing the body to breathe. Few breaths here. Releasing the top arm, a little bit of weight into the front foot to bring us back up to parallel the feet. And then step the feet back to hip distance and get a sense of how that feels in the body. So let's step wide again. Finding the feet. So we're going to turn the left toes in, turn the right toes out, and then again we're going to bend the right knee. So same setup as before, so keeping that connection into the back leg. The knee tracking towards the second and third toes. As I inhale, I'm going to bring my arms up over the head and I'm going to straighten that leg without locking it. And as I exhale, I'm going to let the arms come down. So we're going to repeat that a few times with the rhythm of your own breath. Keeping the arms soft. Next time we exhale, we bend the knee. We're going to let the arms stay around shoulder height, coming into our warrior two pose. Turning the gaze, look out and beyond the right hand. And see if we can still find that expression of the breath in the body. So as we inhale, it might be that the arms lift a little, the legs might lift a little, and as we exhale, we might yield a little more into the support of the floor. Release the arms, a little bit of weight into the front foot to bring us back to parallel the feet. And then opposite side, so turning in with the right and out with the left. Bending the left knee, keeping that connection into the back foot. And then we're going to begin to work with the breath here. So as we inhale, straightening that front leg without locking, as we raise the arms up over the head. Exhaling, bending that knee as we draw the arms down. So again, finding the rhythm of your own breath here. Next time we draw the arms down as we bend the front knee, we're going to pause with the arms in line with the shoulders, turning the gaze up out and beyond the left hand. I'm probably getting right and left mixed up, so forgive me. I do it at the best of times, but even worse for the video. So finding your breath here. And we've got a cat joining us. Releasing the arms, a little bit of weight into the front leg to bring us back to parallel the feet and stepping back to hip distance from there. So we're going to take this into a nice gentle forward bend. I might show you this on the side actually so you can see a bit clearer. So come in to bring the feet hip distance or slightly wider. We're going to soften the knees. I'm going to let my hips rest back, and then I'm thinking about lengthening from my tail out through the crown of my head. The arms can come onto the thighs. You might want to rest the arms on the thighs. I've been enjoying bringing my hands quite high up onto the thighs here and letting the elbows draw in. So I'm thinking about crown of my head, tailbone lengthening. Finding the movement of the breath here. So as we inhale, there might be a lift in the body. And as we exhale, we might yield back down towards the air. And then coming up from there. Got Yuri on the video for you. So we're going to come down back onto the mat now. So we're going to do a little bit of working bridge pose before we come to rest down. We're going to make this a really nice soft bridge for the practice today. So bringing the feet on the floor, bottom's going to be fairly close to your heels. Let the knees coming up towards the ceiling. And again, either bringing the hands at the sides of the body with the palms down for this one, or you might want to bring them onto the lower belly. And as I inhale, I might let my pelvis tilt away from me. And as I exhale, I'm going to let the weight fall down into my feet, so my pelvis might rock back towards me. The weight comes down into my feet, letting the weight pour into the feet. I'm going to lift my pelvis from there, using the support of the feet. And we're not going to come up very high today. We're just going to keep this a nice low slung bridge. Allowing the breath to move into the top of the chest, keeping the weight pouring down into the feet. If you do want to do any of the other versions that we do in class, feel free to do that here if you're confident. If you're confident to do that. I'm just going to spend a few moments here, and then I'm going to come back down, bone by bone. Let's come up one last time, letting the weight pour into the feet. So again, I'm not coming all the way up here. I'm going to keep this a nice low slung bridge. The rest of the spine may lift as well. It's just that I'm not really sort of pushing my pelvis here. I'm really letting the pelvis be soft. Rest back. I'll move my arms out of the way so you can see as well if you want to. So I'm thinking about my breastbone coming towards me. The weight pouring down into the feet. And then I'm going to come back down from there. Drawing the knees in towards the chest, having a little rock from side to side. And then maybe giving the legs a little bit of a jiggle and shake out from there. The arms and the hands might want to get involved. So we're going to come to rest down in Shavasana. So I can show you some ideas for that. A lot of you know what works for you already. So get yourself set up. It's quite nice being at home for Shavasana as well, so you can really make yourself nice and comfortable. What is nice to do, if you've got a bolster at home, if you know what that is, you feel free to put that under your knees. If you haven't and you would like some support for your knees, this is an option that we can use with the blanket that we don't always have access to in the studio. So you can make a little bit of a roll with your blanket for underneath your knees. And come into lay back from there with the arms at the sides of the body, or placing the hands onto the belly. If you prefer, you can have no support under the knees, let the legs lengthen out flat. It's another option. We can bring the feet on the floor with the knees up towards the ceiling in our constructive rest pose. And then finally, particularly if you've got any lower back niggles, this can be quite useful. Not for everyone, but it's worth exploring. You might want to bring the feet slightly wider than your hips. Let the knees come in and rest against each other. And again, letting the arms come to the sides of the body or resting on the lower belly. And make sure you're going to be warm enough. So if you want to put a blanket over you as well, feel free to do that now. Or you can pause the video and do that. Oh, it's quite exciting, isn't it? So once you've got yourself set up in your Shavasana, making sure you are as comfortable as you possibly can be. I'm going to invite you to soften and close your eyes. And again, becoming aware of the back of the body and those points of contact between the body and the support of the floor. So again, it'll probably be the back of the head, between the shoulder blades, might be the backs of the hands, depending on how you've got the arms resting. So getting used to that sensation of the back of the body against the floor. And like before, almost imagining that the body is made of sand. So all the sand here will be settled in those areas of the back of the body. So getting a sense of how the body feels after the practice that we've just completed. Again, letting the breath find its rhythm again. And then let's bring our awareness to the muscles around the head and the forehead and the temples. And sending an invitation there for those muscles to soften. It may even help to send the breath there. And allowing the jaw to soften. If it helps, you might want to stretch the mouth a little, invite a yawn in. May even want to puff the cheeks up with some air. anything that's going to help that area to soften. And then allowing the tongue to rest back in the mouth, so that the tongue doesn't need to be pressed up against the backs of the teeth. The tongue can rest. And as we allow the tongue to rest, can we get a sense of the throat softening? And feeling the sensation of our breath as we inhale and exhale, the sensation of the breath moving through the throat. Allowing the shoulder blades to be heavy and rested. And as we do that, can the front of the chest open? Feeling the breath moving into the sides of the ribs. Letting go of the weight of the pelvis. And as we really encourage the weight of the pelvis to rest down, you might get the sense that the muscles around the thighs don't have to work as hard anymore, and they can soften. The calves can soften. The ankles, the soles of the feet. Really allowing ourselves to soften here into the support that's offered to us. And giving yourself this time here. Give yourself all the time in the world here to rest down fully. So we're going to bring some really gentle movements back to the body now. Maybe letting the fingers and toes gently move. Allowing maybe the head to gently turn from one side to the other. We might bring the palms of the hands together and generate some heat in the hands. And placing the hands either over the eyes, or if you wish to placing the hands somewhere else that might benefit from that heat that we've just made in the hands. And taking all the time that you need, eventually allowing the eyes to open beneath the palms of the hands, maybe letting them adjust to any light that might be coming through the cracks of the fingers. And eventually bringing the hands away from the eyes, letting the eyes fully open. Gathering the knees in towards the chest, having a little rock from side to side. And letting that momentum take you all the way over to rest on one side for a few moments. And eventually bringing yourself back up to a comfortable seated position from there. And then to close the practice, if you wish to, bringing the hands into prayer position in the front of the chest. Allowing everything to settle and find its place again. So we'll leave that there for this video today. Thank you so much for bearing with me. That's the first time I've ever done anything like that, so I hope it's useful for you. Lots of love to you all. I hope you're all safe and well. Feel free to contact me. It'd be lovely to stay in touch, and it doesn't even have to just be about yoga stuff. It'd be lovely to hear from you. So for now, I'll say goodbye. Lots of socially distanced hugs to you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.